The market's uncertain. Pandemics create uncertainty. The elections create uncertainty, especially since it seems that the Democratic Party has a very different philosophy with regards to taxation, et cetera, than the Republican Party. And it's not clear what's going to happen with future stimulus packages, all the rest. How well does a house serve as a hedge against terrible upcoming levels of inflation? If you think we're going to, that question assumes upcoming levels of inflation. Let's just assume for the sake of the argument for a second that question is accurate and there will be levels of inflation, rising. How well do you think a house hedges against that?
Historically, it has done very well because if you look at home price appreciation and charted against inflation, there was a pretty high correlation between the two. I do not think that will be true going forward. And the reason for that is what we've seen over time is that largely people don't pay for the price of a home. If you had told, like, it's funny, I do some of these interviews on YouTube with people that have nationwide audiences, and we talk about entry level homes for $800 or $1 million in Southern California, and they're like, "Are you nuts?" And the only way that an entry level home can be 800 or $1 million is that people can afford them. We have ultra low interest rates. You go from 1990, 30 years ago, plus or minus 10% on an interest rate, to right now plus or minus 3% on an interest rate. So that home is so much cheaper to own. So affordability is a function of two things: interest rates and overall incomes. Incomes for people who have not been adversely affected by the pandemic are still really high. Rates are really low. People in general, what you want to chart and what you see stay relatively stable over time is the percentage of household income that goes to a mortgage payment. So when rates are low, home prices can go up because that percentage of household income going to a mortgage payment stays stable. Now, if we see inflation and that forces interest rates higher, now you're seeing the cost or the percentage of household income that goes to supporting a monthly mortgage payment goes higher, and home prices will have to adjust downwards. We can't have both. Affordability will not allow there to be high inflation, which would lead to higher mortgage rates and an increase in home price value. So I would not count on housing as a hedge against inflation. Now, on the flip side, I would say with almost near certainty, we have zero risk of inflation coming in the future, but that's a longer discussion.